Session 5, we're going to talk about the fire of sacrifice. We've already seen that God is fire. He reveals himself in the fire. He speaks his word with fire, and he lives in the fire. But how can we approach him, who is the fire? Let's read Psalm chapter 50, verse 3. It says, "Our God shall come and shall not keep silence. A fire shall devour before him, and it shall be very tempestuous around about him." Verse 4, "He shall call to the heavens from above and to the earth that he may judge his people." And verse 5, "Gather my saints together unto me, those that have made a covenant with me by sacrifice." It's a sacrifice of fire from us that brings us into the presence of God, who is fire. So God shall come, the fire, he'll come as fire, and he will gather his saints, those who've made a covenant with God by sacrifice. There are over 500 verses about fire in the Bible, and many of them talk about the fire connected with sacrifice. Abraham, when he went up the mountain to sacrifice Isaac, he had to take with him the fire. At Passover, the Passover lamb had to be burnt with fire. It had to be roasted with fire. In Leviticus chapter 1 through to chapter 10, it talks about the 5 offerings. And in Leviticus 6:12, it says, "The fire upon the altar shall be burning in it. It shall not be put out. And the priest shall burn wood on it every morning and lay the burnt offering in order upon it." So the fire of the altar had to burn every day and not be put out. There were 5 offerings: the burnt offering, the meal offering, the peace offering, the sin offering, the guilt offering. And time and again it says they had to be burnt with fire. In Leviticus 6:13, "The fire shall ever be burning upon the altar. It shall never go out." We've already seen that when Solomon dedicated the temple, the fire of God came down. Why? Because there were sacrifices, and the sacrifices were set on fire. Elijah, when he met with the prophets of Baal, we see that the fire of God fell on the sacrifice that Elijah offered. Jesus teaches us in Mark 9:49, "For everyone shall be salted with fire, and every sacrifice shall be salted with salt." So we a sacrifice? Can we take the fire? Romans 12:1, Paul says, "I urge you therefore, brethren, by the mercies of God, that you present your bodies a living sacrifice, holy, acceptable unto God, which is your reasonable service." Am I willing to become a living sacrifice? And let God burn out of me all that is not of him?